So the methodology, basically, this was a summative analysis of findings that we're going through now, and then we're going to move into a formative, so forward-looking conclusions and recommendations. This is a developmental evaluation. The portfolio was really quite short. WFP only took this on in 2019. Funding only really started in 2020, and immediately WFP was hit by, everybody was hit by the COVID pandemic. So really, in terms of the methodology, you cannot really take a position on a short and small portfolio of work to really use that as the whole basis of the evaluation. For that reason, what we're really trying to look for in the evaluation is that more formative, developmental, where is this all going? What is WFP's role? Basically, in terms of the scope of this kind of whole evaluation and the way that the presentation of the conclusions is coming, is that we're kind of looking at where things coming from, what's been happening, what's been WFP doing, and where's this all heading. The first is that WFP did struggle to develop its proposition for agriculture during the evaluation period. WFP did not receive any funds really for agriculture in 2019. Nevertheless, in 21, as the evaluation started kind of coming in, what we did start seeing were that there were beginnings of relationships and learning that were coming out of the work on agriculture that did continue through the pandemic, and that these do provide a good platform for areas that WFP should consider using for future support. WFP's role is a convergence of support around WFP working to help smallholder market access. That seems to be where the skills in WFP are, where there's a kind of clear ambition within WFP, and where government and other external stakeholders are looking for support, and where most of all, the most significantly, what it struck us was that the beneficiaries, women's groups, cooperatives were looking for the support. What that requires, though, there's a very clear demand that this shouldn't just be facilitation and kind of standing back and being quiet. This is about getting tangible sector outcomes. Resource contributions through resource mobilization, these are important, but tangible sector outcomes might be improved value chain and value chain management, better value addition, better post-harvest management, reduced losses. When WFP does this, it needs to pay close attention to the quality of relationships with partners, government and UN, and also CSO partners. In terms about what WFP needs to be doing is it needs to develop its approach to integrated homegrown school feeding in agriculture. That was a great platform and it can go further. It hasn't yet got a theory of change, but we're presenting that to some extent in this presentation. Lots of activity has been happening. At times it's been a bit aspirational and unfocused, but, especially in the coordination efforts, there are very high levels of demand on one or two staff in WFP. If WFP does expand its positioning, it's managed to secure funding for agriculture, it probably does need to think about a little bit more in the way staff resourcing. Perhaps this is where you're all wanting to go to. What is the evaluation? What are we concluding that the value proposition of WFP should be focused on? These areas of WFP agriculture value proposition, those 3-4 areas: smallholder, women's smallholder access to markets, rural women's economic empowerment, post-harvest management, value addition and entrepreneurship. We would advise WFP to kind of link its support to those, to areas where it does already have recognized leadership and has shown successes in Bhutan in the past, around integrated food and nutrition programming, around homegrown school feeding, around supply chain management and supply chain development and infrastructure, around digital enhancement. Behind all of this, though, you have the organisational readiness, its capacities. It needs to think about its capacities for government and technical assistance. That includes resource mobilisation with and for government, hopefully alongside other UN counterparts. To expand its partnerships is really important, and here I'm providing a segue into what will become the recommendations and the importance of gender mainstreaming.
We have seen really significant work over the last 1.5 years when it comes to agriculture sector transformation thinking at the strategic level, at a policy level. We had a very interesting government-led dialogues, pathway dialogues, carried out last year at district level, at national level. Many of the pathways that have been articulated are now being translated into the 2030 agricultural sector. And I do appreciate the work here by the team to try to match up what WFP can, where WFP best can support, because I think we need to look at how development partners can support the government, where we are best placed to support the government, and where we and sort of promote a value-added approach to the sector based on our comparative advantage.